Hello YouTube, this is Corbin22 here. Welcome back to another single ship discussion for Star Wars X-Wing miniatures. In this series, we take a look at single ship builds and discuss their competitive viability in the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game. Today we're looking at one of the Rebel ships that is featured in the expanded universe, and that is the A-Wing escort fighter. This is as you can say, is a pseudo successor to the X-Wing. It was developed by Freytech Incorporated, and it is a snub fighter. However, it sports 3 laser cannons, 2 along the wing and 1 on top of the cockpit. Underneath the laser there, sports the astromech. When these first came out, though, they could only handle R7 model astromechs, but later on down the road, they were later retrofitted to be able to equip R2 and R5 astromechs. The way the engines here are located on the wings. It's got the agility of the A-Wing with the firepower of the X-Wing put together, and can carry a payload of torpedoes. So yeah, it is a spiritual successor to the X-Wing, but the drawback of this ship was, again, the inflexibility of the astromechs you could put on this thing, which was later rectified. Also, the firing systems as well as the sensor relays and whatever had experienced problems when they first launched these. So they were supposed to be full-scale multi-purpose fighters, but were later, because of their flaws, were reduced down to escort fighters. And some pilots of them, or some members of the New Jedi Order, also used the E-Wings for this particular reason. Namely, Koran Horn, who was part of the New Jedi Council, I believe. He flew an E-Wing fighter mainly because of the fact that it was a ship that best suited his needs. It was fast, it was powerful, and it could do a lot of things the X-Wing couldn't. With that being said, that's enough of the history of the ship. Let's look at the pilot we have at hand here. Today we are looking at a pilot by the name of Etahn Abat. So I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Coming in at a pilot scale of 5, he flies the Freytech Incorporated E-Wing escort fighter for the Rebel Alliance, or rather, in this case, the New Republic. He has the standard stats of an E-Wing. He has an attack value of 3, agility value of 3, a hull value of 2, and a shield value of 3. So pretty much very similar stats to the TIE Defender. His action bar consists of the focus, target lock, barrel roll, and evade action. So he costs 32 points to field, so a very expensive ship. His upgrade bar consists of an elite upgrade, a systems upgrade, a warhead upgrade, an astromech, and an unlisted title and modification. His ability reads: when an enemy ship inside your firing arc is at range 1 to 3 is defending, the attacker may change one of its hit results to a critical. Now, there's a hidden meaning to this ability, and that's why I like this guy a lot. It states the attacker may change one of its hit results to a critical. It doesn't specify if it's Etahn or if it's any of his wingmates. So that means, as long as Etahn has an enemy ship within range 1 to 3 of his firing arc, and as long as he or another ship is attacking that ship that Etahn has in his sights, they can change one of his hit results to a critical. So Etahn is a team player. So he's very much a team player. His ability not only benefits himself, but benefits his allies, which is great, because I've given him some upgrades to help maximize on that ability. For starters, for his modification, I put on a modification I haven't shown before, and that is an experimental interface. Now, I was a little bit hesitant to put this on, but after carefully rereading its ability as well as pairing it with the right upgrades, I think this could work. So it's a modification, has a squad point cost of 3, and it reads: once per round, after you perform an action, you may perform 1 free action from an equipped upgrade card with the action header, and then receive a stress token. So it's almost like Push the Limit. You perform an action, and then if you have an upgrade, any upgrade card in your upgrade bar that states action, that has the bold action header, then you can perform that right after the action, but then you receive a stress token. So again, it's like Push the Limit, but it applies to your upgrades, not to your actions. To benefit this, I have gone with Marksmanship for his elite upgrade, and it is an upgrade that must be used during the action phase as the bolt action header. So that means you can pair this with experimental interface. And it reads: when attacking this round, you may change one of your focus results to a critical and all of your other focus results to a critical, or for a regular hit. So it's basically a souped up focus action. For coming in at a squad point cost of 3, it basically states that if you have say you take this action and you get, like, say, get some dice to show some examples here. You get like a hit and 2 focuses like that. Marksmanship can change one of them to a crit, and then every focus result after that becomes a hit. However, if you have Etahn, if you're using Etahn, then you can change that into another crit. So that's kind of where the magic of the build comes in. You have Etahn who can benefit himself as well as his allies, turn hit into a crit, and then you have a marksmanship which changes your first focus result into a crit, and then everyone after that after a hit. And then of course, say you're attacking with proton torpedo, you have another focus result that also becomes a crit. So you have the potential to score criticals all across the board. I showed this guy in my Criticals at the Wazoo Squadron build, which greatly benefited his wingmate, which I think was 10 Num, who was also one of those guys who pretty much allowed you to score criticals up the wazoo. Go into systems. For a bit of action economy, I've gone with a fire control system, which comes in at a squad point cost of 2, and it reads, after you perform an attack, you may acquire a target lock on the defender. So it's basically you attack and you get a free target lock. So it helps with action economy. That means you don't have to keep taking target locks all the time. So you can focus more on your barrel rolls or evades, and then of course you can use marksmanship in place of your focus results. For his warhead, I've gone with a standard proton torpedo. Comes in at a squad point cost of 4, has an attack value 4, can be used at range 2 to 3. Let's get this to focus. And it reads, spend your target lock and discard this card to perform this attack. You may change one of your focus results to a critical result. So again, emphasizing on the whole critical aspect. If you attack with proton torpedoes, say you take your target, say you got a target lock from the previous round for your fire control system, you then take a barrel roll or an evade, and then of course you use the experimental interface to stress with marksmanship. That means you roll your dice, and say for example you get like you get one focus, say you get all focuses all across the board. So your proton torpedoes change one of your focuses to a critical. Marksmanship change one of your focuses to a critical, and then all your other shots become hits. And then Etahn's ability allows you to change one of his hits to a critical. That means you now have 3 criticals and 1 hit all across the board. So yeah, Etahn is really good at dishing out those heavy hits, especially on unshielded foes. So especially with this build I've got going for him. And then of course, to help with ease his stress a bit with the experimental interface, I've gone with an R2 Astromech, which states you may treat all of your 1 and 2 speed maneuvers as green maneuvers. Comes with a squad point cost of 1, fairly straightforward. That means Etahn now has, I think maybe, let's see, he's got maybe 9 green maneuvers to work with now. He's got his speed 1 straight is a green, and then of course his speed 2 banks his speed 1 banks also become greens. His speed 2 straight bank, his speed 2 strength straights and banks are all build greens, but then his turns also become green. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, and then he gets a straight ahead 3, which is so he gets 8 green maneuvers to work with, as opposed to just 5. So that greatly helps with his getting rid of the stress done from experimental interface. Allows you to stay on track of your opponents, and you can keep spamming with your target with your barrel roll or evade, and then of course use experimental interface for marksmanship, and then fire control system takes care of your target locks. Straightforward. So yeah, this is how I would feel Etahn Bat. A very powerful E-wing fighter for a decent squadron, a decent pilot skill. But again, this guy is a team player. He's meant to be used in a squadron. His ability benefits both himself as well as his allies. So as long as you keep their as long as you have a squad, your ship's going after the same target, and Etahn keeps them in his sights, you're guaranteed a critical. But yeah, that's how I would feel Etahn Bat. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. If you like, you may use this build for any competitive or casual play, or you can tweak it or revamp it to your specifications. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Corbin22 signing out.